Welcome to another video, and in this one I'm going to be showing you the Pico Genie Impact 2, which is a fantastic tiny little projector, really cost effective, and is brilliant for your artwork. This that I'm having a look at the moment is the Pico Genie Impact, and this is the 2 that I'm looking at the moment. It's a smart projector, and basically demoing it for art purposes, but you know, you can use it as sort of like a large TV project up onto the wall. This is basically it, this tiny weeny little projector, this little box, and quite honestly it's fab. I've had a bit of a play around with it. You've got HDMI, you've got USB, you've got you can plug it into the mains. It's also wireless. It's honestly, it's great. It comes with a little tripod of its own, so you can pop it on the tripod if you want. Personally, I prefer to attach mine up onto my overhead rig. It makes it a lot easier for me, and it comes also with the power cable as well, so you can plug it into the mains very easily, and you can you pop your USB cable in here, connect that directly to your iPad or your iPhone or something like that, and basically once you switch it on, it will then mirror what's on your screen. So I'll just show you just very quickly. Here we go. So basically whatever's on my iPad here, it will mirror onto here. So I'm now going to set this up, and I will show you how to change your keystone so that everything's nice and square, and I'll show you how to sort of set it all up so that you can project your image onto your piece of paper and draw an outline. Okay, so now it's attached to my clamp. I can move it around if I want, and the projecting beam is going to come down here and onto my cutting mat, which is got squares on it, so that I can make sure that everything's squared up. Okay, so we've now got it. We've now got it so that it's projecting down onto my surface. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that first of all it is square. Although when you first set it up, you need to connect it to your Wi-Fi and make sure that your Bluetooth is on in the settings program. To get to this area here, you just hit the little home button on the remote control. So I'm now going to go to settings, because I want to set up my keystone, which means that it's all positioned properly. So I'm just going to go into settings there, and I want to go into the projection settings. You can set your Wi-Fi up in there and your Bluetooth as well. So I'm going to go to projection settings, and you can see here in the list I've got projector keystone. So I'm going to come down to projector keystone, and what you'll see is this little diagram here. Basically you want your corners all to line up. At the moment everything's all over the place, so every time you click on the OK button, you can see these little arrows jump around the edges, and this is how we're going to change the keystone. So everything wants to be square. So if we start in this corner, let's keep it on this line here that it's on. In fact, I'm just going to move it up just a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to move it into this line here. So I'm going to move it to the right. Okay, and then I'm going to go OK, and I'm going to move up to here, and I'm going to move this over, all the way over. That's it. And then I'm going to bring it just down slightly so that we're sitting on the line there. Then I'm going to move over to this side, and I'm going to bring that in, and then I'm going to move down to the bottom, and I'm going to move that up, and it needs to go out slightly. Oops. It's not going to go out. Let's bring it in and then we can move the other one in as well. So, and then we should have everything nice and square. Okay, so I've got it plugged into my iPad and in there as well. And what happens is the image from my iPad, whatever I've got on my iPad, directly comes onto and through the projector. And because I'd set out the keystone right from the start, everything is beautifully square. It's honestly so simple. I've been faffing around with different bits and pieces, didn't realise that you could actually plug the iPad straight into or your iPhone straight into the back of it, and I've been messing around with AirPlay and all of that type of stuff. Actually, it's just as easy as you know, as that. So if I've got my little frogs there, I don't know, maybe I want to put zebras on there. I think the best thing to do is probably to have some form of a square or something like that in the middle, just to make sure that you have actually got everything square, you know, just so that you don't sort of squeeze it in too much, because that you can do that. It's with the keystone, you've got to be really, really careful that you you know, you have everything squared up properly. So I would always recommend having some sort of a square in the middle, you know, maybe one up here, 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 and just try and make sure that all of them are properly square. You know, there's enough to be playing with, and if you were using a line art or something like that, then it would probably be you know, easier again. There's enough to be working with, you know, just for a very decently priced projector, and incredibly easy to use. You know, it's literally just plug it in and off you go. And the keystone's very easy as well, because you can correct each separate corner. The projector I have, the Artograph, it's kind of either or, so it means that you can have your projector really quite skewed, but you can still create like a really nice square image. So I honestly think it's a really, really smashing piece of kit. It's tiny, it's cost effective, you can put it on, it comes like a little tripod. So it's got its own little tripod here. Oops. That you can stand it on, you know, if you prefer to sort of project it at a wall or something like that. For me, I prefer to use my overhead rig because it's here and it works really, really nicely. Yeah, you know, I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And if you created your line art first rather than projecting from a photograph, that I think would pick up easier. You know, because you're not then kind of going into all of the detail and everything like that. But I think it's definitely good enough quality. So I'm just showing you here how easy it is just to come in over the top and start to trace your outline. You don't obliterate the beam that's coming down from the projector. You know, if you keep your hand sort of like just away from that main beam, you can very, very easily see your image and trace around. Links to the different projectors are in the description below, as is my discount code.